Hi everybody, hope you're fit and well, and well, I won't say enjoying being at home just yet from all the comments that I've seen on Facebook, but I'm sure given the time we're all going to adjust in the ways that we see fit. I know that a lot of parents are having to school their children and people working from home that haven't been used to it. So yeah, I just hope everybody's okay and not finding this too stressful at the moment. But as again, from a lot of the posts on Facebook, I can see that a lot of people are saying that they're finding it quite stressful. So this leads me into the second video of the breathing techniques. So I'm hoping that this will give you some more help and advice and some more techniques to deal with some of the anxiety, some of the stress, some of the panic that people may be feeling at the moment. And hopefully with the time that we have now, perhaps you'll be able to practice some of the techniques a little bit more and make them worthwhile for you. So before we start, I just want to recap on what we did in week one. So we had a look at how breathing changes in different situations. Remember I spoke about if you're angry or excited or relaxed or stressed or anxious, and why our breathing changes when we understand stress a little bit more with the fight or flight, but we have to have the fright first. We looked at some of the side effects of incorrect breathing, so hyperventilation, panic attacks, prolonged anxiety, and the fatigue that it can bring along with it. And then I asked you to check your breathing, so to take a moment to put your hand on your chest and then your other hand on your abdomen and to just check which is moving more. And if your hand on your chest is breathing more, you tend to be breathing through your mouth, which means you're taking shallower breaths, which could add to the anxiety and the stress that builds up. Excuse me. And then we looked at centering the breath, where we were sitting comfortably in a chair. So arms relaxed, feet sort of, or legs shoulder width apart, feet on the floor, trying to sit up reasonably straight, but not doing a sergeant major and feeling tense about it. So sitting away from the back of the chair and breathing in for 2, 3 or 4, but doubling the time that we exhale out. So if we're going to breathe in for 3, we exhale out for 6. If we breathe in for 4, we're going to exhale for 8. And making people aware that this can make you feel a little bit dizzy to start with, and how the body tries to sort of cut in, because this is something that we do naturally. It doesn't want us to sort of take control of that because it's one of our automated systems, and how that can suddenly make us feel a little bit more panicky about our breathing or become out of breath or all those sorts of things. So that was something else that we covered. And then we did the yoga breath, where we put the forefinger on the forehead and then we breathe in and out through one nostril and then in and out through the other nostril, and just keep repeating that one. One thing I didn't necessarily go through was deep breathing, and this is an instant de-stressor. Because of all the things that happen when we start getting into panic attacks and incorrect breathing techniques, is that we can break into that cycle. And a deep breath is, as I say, a good instant de-stressor, and it's to stop the breath. Is to breathe in through your nose for a count of 7, and then out of your mouth for a count of 11. Now again, this can be something when you're in a panic attack that helps you to try and gain control of your breathing and trying to correct your carbon dioxide levels and all the rest of it, or carbon monoxide. I always get those two mixed up. But as I say, it tries to help bring a rebalance back to your breathing itself. So with that one, as I say, you're going to breathe in through your nose for a count of 7. So it's a very slow inhale. So it may go something like this. So for me, that was an intake of 7 and a breathing out through the mouth for 11. Now, if you are in a panic situation, if you are feeling stressed, if you're breathing quite shallow and quickly from your chest, breaking into that with that helps you bring a balance back. It could make you feel dizzy, but it's a really good instant de-stressor when you feel that you've got to the point where you're not breathing correctly and you may be breathing in a hypertensive state or a panic state. And as I say, it's breathing in through for 7 through the nose and exhaling through the mouth for 11. So that being said, one of the things I want to look at today is progressive muscular relaxation. Now, this was something that was established relaxation routine. It was devised by a guy called Edmund Jackson in the 1930s. His aim was to develop a systematic program which would achieve a deep level of relaxation. So the result is a series of tense and relaxed exercises that focus on the body's major muscle groups, produces deep relaxation through the body. In addition, it helps you learn to make a distinction between tense and relaxed, and so that you can help to recognize when you're more tense and when you are actually relaxed. So when you're suffering from stress or stress-related conditions, your natural state is to actually be one that's quite tensed. And because it's become your natural state, it's the way that you are, you won't realize that you're possibly holding tension in your stomach, that you're holding tension through your neck and into your other muscles. And it's quite a natural way to be when you've programmed your body to be in that state all the time. So don't be beating yourself up. None of this is about beating yourself up or blaming yourself. We're human beings and we work in very similar ways. And it's the body's reaction, and it's tense because it's waiting for the fight or the flight. But because it builds up over a period of time and you won't necessarily be aware of it, it's very, very, very normal not to understand that you're carrying those tensions throughout the rest of your body. Now, if you're carrying that tension, it may be that you're suffering with severe headaches. It may be that you've got back complaints. It may be that you're having problems with your digestive system, because a lot of emotional stress is held within the sort of digestive, within the stomach. And I myself have ended up with IBS. And that is where the muscles have been contracted for so long or under tension that you've basically, it's a bit like a rubber band, and you pull it for too long or stretch it too far and it doesn't spring back anymore. That's the best sort of example that I can give, or sort of an analogy of what's going on. And they believe that that's something that you can't reverse. It's a bit like overstretching that elastic band. You can't suddenly put the spring back into it. There's a lot of things that you can do to reduce the side effects of that. So as I say, tension is something that as human beings, we carry with us all the time. It's not something that you need to beat yourself up about. It's not something that makes you some sort of a freak, or that it's your fault that you've harmed yourself. It's our own body's natural way of dealing with the pressures that are placed upon us. It builds that stress up. So one of the things that we look at is the fact that progressive muscular relaxation encourages us to do a number of different things. It encourages us to, first of all, start using a breathing technique, which is good for us anyway, especially if we're feeling anxiety and stress and depression and all the other things that I've mentioned. But it also allows us to understand which parts of the body are actually feeling like they're under stress or under tension, which we may not have realized. Some people, if they're working at a computer all day, won't realize that they may be curling their toes and gripping the ground. They might be quite happy to move a mouse with one hand, but this hand that's on the table, they probably don't realize, but they're going to be putting more and more pressure through the table with this arm, which can cause further problems and issues through the neck. as well as obviously not taking advice and stepping away from a computer every hour to look far, look near, take a bit of exercise. And let's face it, I've worked in many offices and worked with many hundreds of people. I have never, ever seen anybody taking that advice every hour. Health and safety will tell you to do it. You may have had occupational hygiene, speak to you about it, but I've never ever seen anybody do it, and I've never seen a manager telling their staff to do it. So again, it's just something that we get into and we get used to doing. I used to do it myself. I used to sit in front of computers for hours and hours every day, and I would be completely oblivious to the amount of time, and all of a sudden I'd think, Christ, I've just spent 5 hours. And then you're still thinking, I just need to do this next email, I need to do this next proposal, I need to make contact with this person, rather than putting our own health and well-being first. So progressive muscular relaxation, as I say, was in the 1930s. And basically what it's about is using, as we use a breathing technique, to actually tense and relax parts of our body. Now, back in the 1930s, they said the major muscle groups. What I found was, working with clients, was that a system where we work from the ground up tends to work better for most people. And by doing it that way, we cover the whole of the body and we're not missing anything out. Now, what I tend to do is encourage people, first of all, to start to think about their breathing. So you would do the centering of the breath, so which is what we talked about last week. So sitting a chair, move your back away from the back of the chair. You want to sit with your knees or your feet sort of shoulder width apart. You want to have your arms sort of resting on your knees. It's all right, my other half's just about to come through. We're working from home. Mandy has an office in the garden, but she's coming back in to get some lunch. She didn't know I was doing the video. You don't have to do that. You can wave and say hello if you want to. I'm just doing a video about, so... Hi, this is Mandy, this is my other half. She's a coach and a therapist and a trainer and all sorts of things. So we're having some great conversations at the moment about what we can do to try and help people. Anyway, sorry, back to the relaxation. So you've taken that, your back is away from the back of the chair. You're sitting upright, but as again, not the Sergeant Major thing where you've put yourself into tension. You just want to sit with the palms of your hands resting on your knees. Your legs are, say, around about shoulder width apart, and just take a moment just to close your eyes and ask yourself, where am I breathing mostly from? Is it from the chest? Is it from the stomach? And just allow yourself to get into a controlled breathing state where you're breathing in through the nose and then out through the mouth. You don't need to count at this point. Just allow yourself the time to just close your eyes and just breathe through the nose, exhale through the mouth, and just be in that position. So I'm just going to do it just for sort of 10-20 seconds and just allow myself to sort of getting in that mode with you. So I'm just going to close my eyes. You may not be able to hear my breath in or my exhale, and it probably doesn't make good videoing if I just to sit here and do that for ages. So please allow yourself a couple of minutes, or as long as it takes, and to the point where you're breathing in through the nose, slight pause, exhale through the mouth, and just get yourself to a point where the body isn't trying to kick in. It's not trying to go, what are you doing? Get off. I do the breathing for you. And that you're just in a calm state and breathing in and breathing out, just in a very cyclical flow, really. So just allow yourself to get into that point. Now, progressive muscle relaxation works by, as you breathe in through your nose, you will choose the muscle group. And as I say, I start with the feet and then work my way up through the body. And as I breathe in, I will be tensing my feet initially, screwing my toes up and doing it as hard as I can, but without causing any issues or any problems. I don't want people pulling muscles or suddenly going, oh God, I've just pulled something. So just allowing yourself to tense that muscle. You pause, and then as you exhale, you let go of that tension through the feet. So what I would suggest you do is, as you breathe in to start with, you would just be mindful of, how does the body feel at the moment? Are there any areas that are showing up to be in stress? Are there any pains? Are there any ailments that you have that you know of? And by taking that time out and just concentrating on you whilst you breathe in and out before starting the process, it may show you that you're carrying tension in different parts of the body, or you've got a slight pull or a slight strain, or a muscle group that feels like it's under tension. Now, you don't start with those muscle groups, but be aware that if you have a bad back, if you've got a bad neck, if there's you've pulled muscles in your calves, say for instance, that just be aware of those when you're doing the exercise, because you don't want to make any of those injuries any worse. So as I say, I start by, as I breathe in, excuse my hands, they're going to be a visualization of my feet, but I'm curling my toes in and trying to grip the floor with them. And then as I breathe out, I'm just letting that tension go. Now, I may do it 2 or 3 times with a muscle group before I move on to the next muscle group. Sometimes if I've been really tense, the second breath in, I'll, instead of gripping my toes to the floor, I'll maybe curl my toes backwards on themselves. Just so when I do finally breathe out and relax, there feels like a true relaxation within that part of the body. So sometimes, because we've been carrying tension for so long, the one hit doesn't work. But the more that you practice these techniques, the more proficient you will become at it, the less you'll be thinking about it. So if I run you through the schedule that I tend to do, is as I breathe in, I'm tensing. As I breathe out, I'm relaxing. So I start with the feet. I then move to the calves. So to tense the calves, I tend to come up onto my toes. And then you will naturally feel that your calves become more tense. And then I try to tense those muscles as I'm breathing in. And then as I exhale, I'm allowing those muscles, allow my feet to come back to the floor, takes the tension off them. Sometimes I will bring the feet up towards me, leaving my heels on the floor, because that tenses the muscles in the front of your calves, not just the back of your calves. So if you don't know anatomy, if you're not used to muscle groups, play around with this and you'll start to become much more aware of those muscle groups and also the tension that you carry in them. And as I say, if you find there's an area that particularly feels stressed or under tension, then you can do that a number of times just on that one muscle group before you move to the next. So from the calves, I'll move through to the thighs. And to do this, you can sit down and you can try to tense your thigh muscles by putting pressure down through your legs and your feet through to the floor. And then likewise, if you're trying to do it the other way, is you're almost trying to keep your feet on the floor, but trying to bring them back towards the chair, and you'll feel the back of your thighs starting to be under tension. So again, you play with this. What's right for you is right for you. So that's feet, calves, front and back, thighs, top and bottom. And then we can come through to your glutes, which is your bum. Now, your glutes are the biggest muscle groups in your body. It's the things that most people, I suppose, don't give credit for being the biggest muscle groups in the body. But we can carry a lot of tension. And if you think you're sitting on, say if you're somebody that's at a desk and you're in front of a computer all day long, they're a muscle group that's being used an awful lot because they're supporting your body and also through to your core. So again, as we breathe in, I'm tensing my buttocks. And then as I exhale, I'm going to release them again. Sometimes, if I feel that they need a bit more work, I'll just tense one and then relax, and I'll tense the other and relax. So again, work with that. Start to recognize and feel your own muscle groups. Start to understand what works or doesn't work for you. And then when it comes through to the stomach, again, I like to work in two ways. So initially, I might just, as I breathe in, just clamp down on the muscle group, and you'll feel the tension through your abdomen. But also, I do the one where as I breathe in, I'm pushing the stomach out. It's hard to talk whilst you're doing it, but I'm pushing the stomach out because I'm pushing the muscles the other way. So one brings them in, the other one pushes them out. And again, because this is an area where a lot of people carry a lot of emotional stress and a lot of pressure, it may be an area you want to do a number of times before you move up. I mean, if you really know your different muscles within the body, you can start working your side obliques. You can start working different areas. But for just the normal everyday people that are not heavy on their anatomy, we're going to stick to the major groups. So that's your stomach. And then you come through to the chest. And as you're sitting there, you can sort of just tense the chest up. And then relaxing it. And tensing it again. And then relaxing it. And you'll find that as you try and tense that, you'll be tensing your back muscles up a little bit as well. So your latissimus dorsi, the guys give them the V. And again, you tense the muscle as you breathe in and you relax the muscle as you breathe out. There's no counting in this, so you'll find your own rhythm, your own technique, your own style to doing it, but you cannot be tensing as you breathe out. You have to let go of that tension. So then you can come through to doing your hands. So again, you can clench your hands as you breathe in. Relax them as you breathe out. You might want to try and curl them the other way. So you're trying to bring your hands back towards your forearms and then relax as you breathe out. And then you can tense your forearm by curling down or curling up. You could do the whole of the arm by gripping the chair itself, but that brings in lots of different muscle groups at the same time. Again, I'm not going to bore you with the anatomy and the physiology behind it. So it's best to try and isolate those groups. And then with your arms, you've got your biceps, so you could tense your bicep and then relax. And then you've got your triceps. You've got 3 heads on your tricep. Most people don't understand that. So it makes me laugh when you see all these guys in the gyms with a big peak on the bicep and they want to get bigger arms, but they're not working the 3 heads on the triceps. So again, it's becoming more aware of your body and becoming more aware of where the tension is. Shoulders. Now, shoulders can be a hard one to tense. So what I often do is I'll put my hands on the chair and I'll cup it over the arm of the chair. So if that's the arm of the chair, I'm cupping my hands over. And what I'm doing is I'm trying to lift my shoulders up and bring them up towards, or I can go backwards with them, or I can come forwards with them, I can come up with them. And once that's going to work is your shoulders and your trapeziums, and muscles through the top of your back. But again, all of this is done under tension as you breathe in through your nose, and then when you release that tension, you have to breathe out through the mouth. Now, you can get into all sorts of funny things with the face, because you can isolate the mouth and you're like doing different things, and use different parts of your face. I hope you're all having a laugh at that one. But there's many muscles in the face, and just play around with it. Absolutely play around with it. There's no right or wrong. It's just tension and then release. So that was progressive muscular relaxation. And it's called progressive muscular relaxation because as you do it, moving through the body in your own flow, and if you prefer to do it from the head and work down, or start with the hands and come into the torso, and it's up to you, okay? But what I quite liked is starting with the feet and then moving up through the body. So by the time we get to the sort of the head of the neck area, the rest of the body is already feeling some of the relaxation that's going on. And this is something which you can do anywhere. So, if you're having a particularly stressful day at work, although at home at the moment, take a couple of minutes out, go into your centering of the breath, make sure that you're relaxed, make sure that you're in the right position. And then once you've got control of the breathing, going to do the progressive muscular relaxation. It doesn't matter how many times a day that you do it, but it is particularly, or recognised as being particularly good for people who can't sleep. So this is something that you would do maybe an hour before you go to bed, and then potentially you could do it just before you go to bed. And it helps take the tension and the stress and all the pressure that you've put under your body through the day, and it helps just take it away and allows your body to feel in a relaxed, non-tense state as you then go into sleep mode. So for people that are having pressured days, that are feeling the stress and strains of what's going on, this is a fantastic way of taking that stress and that pressure out of the physical now, your physical being, within the muscles that have been holding it up all day for you, or over the last day, or the last week, or the last 6 months, or the last year, and start to just allow those muscles to actually reprogram to, this is what relaxation feels like. I'd forgotten that. And as I say, the body's an amazing thing, and it will do what we tell it to do most of the time and take that as its normal. So as I say, if you're somebody who's been suffering with stress for a period of time, or panic attacks or anxiety, your body will have got used to being under tension. The muscles would have got used to being under tension. So this is a way of breaking that cycle and allowing your body to go, I remember this. I remember this feeling of relaxation. I remember this feeling of not having tension through my muscle groups. And over a period of time, if it's something that you use on a regular basis and at least once a day, I would suggest that if you're somebody who's particularly suffering at the moment, try to do it 3, 4, 5 times a day. Try and set yourself a target to do it for 2 minutes every hour, maybe. Because the more time that you put into this, the more results that you will get back. And as you become better at it, it'll actually take less time. And it will allow your body to keep going, I should be relaxed. The muscles shouldn't be under tension, shouldn't be causing me this pain. So, as I say, all of these breathing techniques are techniques which work when you practice them. It's like anything in life. As I said before, you don't become Arnold Schwarzenegger the first time you walk into a gym, and you don't suddenly run a marathon when the best you've ever done is walked 100 yards. So it's small steps, taking it at a time. There's there is right and wrong in that you should only tense when you breathe in and relax as you breathe out. But where you start, what you do, which parts of the body that you tend to do. Some people might say that because they've been at the desk for so long, they'll just do the upper half of the body. I would say that's okay as long as you only as long as you do the full body at some point, because all you're teaching your body then is that it's okay for this part to be relaxed, but you haven't looked at the tension that you're carrying through your glutes and your thighs and your quads, and through to your calves and the other muscles and into your feet, because if you are stressed, you will be carrying tension throughout all of those muscle groups. So try to practice this as often as you can. Try to allow yourself that time, because I think you're worth it, and you don't overcome illnesses unless you put work in to overcome them. This is something that can help if you're stressed, if you're anxious, if you're suffering with panic attacks. It helps to realign that natural balance that we have, that you're out of at the moment. And as again, that's not your fault. This is what the body does when it's under stress. And if you start to tackle these things, you'll find there's a knock-on effect throughout the rest of your life as well, and your overall health and well-being will improve. If you do have a look at my website, which is www.talkunwalk, so that's an N and then walk.co.uk, I talk about the 6 pillars, and these are the 6 pillars that you, from my experience over the 20 years plus that I've been working as a consultant in managing stress and stress-related conditions, these are the 6 key areas, the 6 pillars that allow you to gain control back in your life. And if you feel that you are starting to suffer with stress or stress-related conditions, these are the 6 pillars that you need to look at to give yourself more resilience and to try and protect yourself from the negativity that can bring to your overall health and mental health and your psychological well-being. So never underestimate the power of breathing and some of the techniques that we're going to go through. So as I say, try to center your breath to start with. Once you feel that you're okay and that you're breathing a nice cyclical manner and you're not overthinking things, or you're not out of breath and you're just in a nice flow state, then go into your progressive muscular relaxation and see what the benefits are. So that's it for this session. I hope that you're getting something out of this. If you have any questions or any issues around what we've gone through, then you can contact me directly, or you can put a message in the group. And the next video will be going live in around about a week, and we're going to start to have a look at visualization going along with breathing techniques. So yeah, have fun, enjoy, take the time to practice, and you'll start to see the benefits of this. So hope everyone stays well. I may be doing some lives in the coming weeks, but at the moment there seems to be a gluttony of everybody jumping on the proverbial bandwagon, and I'm waiting for that sort of tsunami of help to sort of subside a little bit, and then I'll come in when I feel it's appropriate to see whether or not I can offer some more help and advice, or even personal one-to-ones with people. So stay safe, stay well, stay positive. And if you're starting to feel that things are overwhelming you, have a look at the videos, listen to what's being said, and just take on board those steps and make that positive sort of step to improving your health, well-being. And as I say, have a look at the 6 pillars if you want to, because that may help sort of enlighten you a little bit more to some of the things that are going on in the body. But yeah, stay safe, stay well, and we'll catch up again soon. Take care. Oh, and enjoy the sunshine. Isn't it gorgeous at the moment? Take care. Bye-bye.